Welcome to How to Talk Minnesotan. Here we have a fine crew of natives to help you behave properly in our native state. Enjoy. Two standing Minnesotans never face each other during conversation. The angle made by the two intersecting lines running parallel to the chests of the participants should never be less than 45 degrees. 90 degrees is the average, 135 degrees is common, and 180 degrees is within reason. Heated arguments in public places would be in the 45-degree range. Voices are not raised. A simple discussion between two standing Minnesotans about the weather or the Twin Cities' chance for getting out of the cellar would be conducted at a full 180 degrees. Both would be staring off into the distance as they talk to each other. If you are seated during conversation, the ideal angle can sometimes be achieved if you move your chair. Two Minnesotans in a living room for conversation will both sit on the sofa, one at each end facing forward, with only an occasional side glance.
So how about this weather then? You bet.
If you can't carry on a conversation about the weather in Minnesota, you might as well pack your bags and head back to where you came from. One day the clerk at the Red Owl said to this guy ahead of me in line, "What do you think of this weather?" And this guy's got all red and he said, "I don't think anything. I don't pay any attention. What weather? Are you kidding me? Do I know you?" That was not a good reply from Minnesota. Here are two Minnesotans getting wound up on the weather.
What do you think of this weather?
Boy, it's something.
I've never seen anything like it.
You got that right.
In specific weather conditions, the conversation becomes more detailed and animated. For example, in the fog.
It's foggy, isn't it?
You talk about fog, this is it.
I wonder what causes a fog like this.
More often than not, what brings a stranger to his knees here is waving. Waving. It looks like such a simple act, but it's almost as complicated as spoken Minnesotan. The ordinary garden variety wave here is the finger wave. Your hand is gripping the steering wheel, you meet another vehicle, and you raise the index finger. You don't leave it up, you just flash it. The finger wave has more variations than I intend to go into here. Watch for it, and try to imitate it. The thumb is never featured in a wave. 2 to 4 finger waves are commonly used between fast-moving vehicles, but the nicely executed single finger wave is a thing of beauty and a joy forever. To me, it perfectly sums up the Minnesota character that I love so much. The finger wave from the steering wheel, when you get it right, you'll know you've arrived and you don't ever have to leave again if you don't want to. A few years back, two brothers from Minnesota ran into each other at a highway restaurant near Alexandria. The restaurant keeps a picture of the brothers by the cash register. The Eastern newspapers carried the story and used it as evidence that Minnesotans' obsession with winter was reflected in our manners and feelings. What they meant is that we were a cold people. The two brothers, Frank and Gary, had not seen each other for 64 years, not since they were split up somehow on a Mississippi paddle boat. It involved a young woman from a river town and a girdle, and a catfish. I don't remember the exact details. They were 22 and 23 when that incident happened, whatever it was. And then there they were at the restaurant in similar booth, 64 years later.
What will you have?
I'll have a bun and a glass of water. I'll have what he had. It's my brother. I haven't seen him in over 60 years. Can I move my silverware over to where he's sitting?
Sure.
Well, yep. You pass the ketchup? Yep. Well, checked on another one. Well, you bet. Although you did have the iced tea.
Minnesota Language Systems. Why sound like a stranger when you visit? A week or two of study and people will think you've lived in Minnesota all your life, and so will you.
So folks, that's about it then.
Whatever.
Read the book.